Hello everyone, Turner Burner here with another video for you guys. I have a solo explanation video that I want to go over, and this is featuring on a channel for the first time CommanderCh. He did Protector on the split. I recently saw this twice a week ago. I knew he did this, but I just hadn't gotten around to it, and I wanted to go over the video. Um, there are some pieces of the video that you guys can learn from if you're going to use Protector on the split. But it also is a great lesson, I would say, in this video on how to, you know, take down Guardians, take down Sentinels. It's also a lesson on how you can work around working as a character that has low health. Because the thing about Protector is he can't, or Protector, I should say, can't take a lot of damage from anything without, getting full red. So there's enemies in the second act that Commander ultimately has to deal with, like elite drones, juvies, possibly. I can't remember which spawn he got. But he doesn't have to deal with a whole lot of juvies if he did. But I think he got rejects though. But potentially juvies if you were to try this yourself. And obviously DR1s, and then also obviously the Sentinel. So there's pretty much nothing easy about what you're about to see here. So hopefully you guys can definitely pick up some pieces to employ when you do your split runs with other classes. So anyway, just a quick point of order. His cards are Regenerative Field, Close Range Recharge, Bloody Blade, Drop Steel Duration, and Big Knife. So I like Close Range Recharge here because that means close range kills. He's going to be able to get his ultimate more frequently, which could be useful. It kind of works a little bit like health because it's going to protect him from if he needs to use it for a Sentinel or Guardian, as you'll maybe see in this video. So this is actually an excellent Protector solo. It's such an unlikely class to utilize on this map, but he gets it done. So the first part of it, in the first act, you're going to deal with the first set of Deadeyes. And I actually haven't done the split in a while, so I can't remember if it's 3 drones and 2 Deadeyes after that, or vice versa. So what he does is trigger the Deadeyes without triggering everything on the other side. And as you can see, he's already halfway on his ultimate after just 2 kills, which is going to be useful potentially later. So instead of waiting for his active, he just straight away starts killing the drone. I'm assuming because it's faster just to kill him with more bullets than waiting for the active. I think that's why he decided it. But, there's a lot of options here. You can completely wait for your active to save ammo or what have you. See, what I like to do in this section when I have a weaker class, what I like to do is I like to take out the drones because they have repetitive shots as opposed to a Deadeye, which is easier to dodge, especially at close range. So if I was Protector, what I would have done is taken out the drones and then just rushed the Deadeyes and then work from there. And it really, with Protector specifically, it wouldn't have mattered if it was juvies or rejects. They would have been able to be killed pretty easily. So, but like I said, in other solo explanation videos I've done, there's not any one way to do this, evidently, because he completed it. So I'm just saying, like, there's another option if you wanted to, because some characters, or if you're just inaccurate, you may not have enough M-bar shots to kill all these enemies. There's been a few times where an M-bar, see, he handled it differently because he pulled the Deadeyes towards where you spawn, but sometimes if you kill the Deadeyes in this area, the M-bar can drop down below and you have no access to it. So just little tidbits here, and you really don't know how much M-bar you're going to get when you pick it up either. So if you were to try this, I would go after the drones first if you can help it, and then just rush to the Deadeyes. So he's able to get that drone pretty easily. Now, Commander is, I would say between him and Beetle are the most gifted snipers in the escape community. So there's a lot of stuff that will happen in this video that, you know, most of you probably won't be able to emulate, but you can still learn from it and, obviously improve your game as well. So, but you'll see what I'm talking about later on. So not much here, just, melee Deadeye twice and dodge, and then that's it. It'll die. So he's going to get Torque Bow, and also fill up his M bar in the process. With a class like, and this goes into just comparing it to other split solos that have been done. In general, with the exception of Infiltrator, the classes that need the fans are the classes that are don't kill things as quickly. So, for instance, the classes that wouldn't need the fans would be Blade Master wouldn't need fans, Infiltrator because you could just cloak past everything in that last area. Demolitions definitely doesn't need the fans because of the ultimate and the GL and the 8 frags. So it just depends on the class. Nomad doesn't need the fans either. So there will be classes that won't need fans. Protector is by no means an efficient killer. So he's going to need to go to the other side, pull the 3 fans and the med bay. I don't know. I can't remember if he does that specifically. Just so he has enough time to inch his way to the safe room. So 7 Torque Bow, full M bar or almost full M bar, and he'll use that to clean up the left side. So what you'll see here is, something I wish I was able to do, but he almost never misses his active, which is very key here if you're going to be a non-marksman, non-anchor class. You have to pretty much always hit your active because it always takes 2 shots for all these enemies, the dead eyes, the drones, to kill. If this was a sniper, this would be way easier. So now he has to kill the Guardian. Two actives, I believe, takes down the shield. And just one more headshot will kill the Guardian. Will basically kill the Guardian completely. So what you need to do is, if you don't already do this, and I'm honestly talking to myself in part, get in a rhythm of hitting your actives. I know for me, if once I start missing, I continue missing and getting in a bad rhythm of missing. So I know this goes without being said, but if you get in a rhythm of doing your active shots, it will only take 4 total Torque Bow shots to kill a Guardian, as you can see here. 2 to take down the shield, 2 headshots to completely kill it. So now, since he did that so quickly, he's able to, Venom be behind him and then also go through the rest of the first act. So just filling up M bar because he still has, I believe it's 5 apiece, 5 drones, 5 deadeyes. I don't know how many more he has, but I believe that's the total. The drones are really annoying in this map. So he's able to melee him once since he's so close. He still hasn't used his shield, which is fine. Doesn't need it, obviously. Got a collateral there for 2 low health drones. So he's able to get, 2 kills and 3 total shots. So that's good there. I don't remember if that's every enemy over here, but look at the Venom. And we're talking about with Protector. So he's way ahead of schedule here. So being ahead of schedule. See, the thing about the split, you got to get ahead and stay ahead. So if he's slow with anything, the Venom's going to creep up. And the Venom is not the Protector's friend by any means. So he picked up the Tri-Shot because it will help him with the Guardian, or really whatever he wants to use it on, But theoretically, what comes to mind first is the shield on the Guardian. So, but like I said, way ahead of Venom and pulled the Venom fans. I think he did not get the med bay, which is not a big deal. Not getting the med bay, as long as you clear, saves time. So right now he's going to try to get as many enemies as he can without triggering both Guardians, I believe. So if a drone rushes him one-on-one, it's really not a big deal because Protector has stem and has some healing. But if the DR1 rushes him, it can be a problem. So he needs to be careful here. So a stun, melee, run away, because one shot will take off the stem and the next shot will probably kill him. Probably. So getting more M-bar for the remaining enemies. He still has the stem up. I don't remember. I don't think he's triggered the Guardian yet, or if he has, it's like not pushing. No, he hasn't triggered the Guardian yet. So if you're dealing with this class, that you can't control Guardian placement. Sometimes they're looking like you'll open the door and they'll be like right there. So you just kind of have to make do with what spawn you got. So if the Guardians were like instantly visible, he would have to deal with them first. And there's a possibility that he may need to reload the map because the Guardian placement's just not ideal, especially if he's in a situation where, you know, both DR1s immediately see him and both Guardians immediately see him and they just rush. He's kind of in a situation where the position of the enemies is highly fortunate because he's able to pick each of them one on one for the most part. So this is actually very ideal for Protector. Definitely not easy because you still got to be perfect in hitting all your shots. But as far as this room before the save from I've seen, it's definitely on the good RNG in my estimation. So now he's triggered one Guardian. That's very important. One Guardian versus both of them. You know, obviously one is smaller than two, so if he can deal one at a time, it's easier to deal with. So as you can see here, he's got one more headshot, and he's able to get him low, so he might be able. That might bleed him out. Yes, that bleeds him out. So as you can see, Commander is quickly wiping out the Guardians. And look at the Venom. The Venom's not even on the map anymore, or is still not on the map. But the Venom countdown is now gone, so he has to be somewhat cognizant, but not that much. As long as he keeps the same pace, he should still be good. So there's a DR1 shoulder that he sees, which would be good to trigger. So, like I said, just dealing with them one-on-one. He still has one more Guardian to deal with, but he doesn't have to deal with that now. It's obviously easier to deal with DR1s at a distance as Protector, so he doesn't have to worry about them, you know, rushing him and, you know, downing him through after they knock off his stem. So yeah, he's just able to take off each of them one by one, and I guess he triggered the Guardian somehow. But like I said, Commander is really good at... Oh, I didn't knock off the shield for some reason. But anyway, he's really good at... hitting his actives and really hitting virtually all of his shots. So if you can do the same thing, you can do this solo. But this is a low health Guardian now, and the tri-shot will help a lot. Shield's weak, and Guardian's dead. So none of the Guardians, or new phrase, the three Guardians that he did deal with did not take a long time by any means. So I was unsure why he... I mean, maybe he just because he wanted to, but he doesn't have to deal with it. At least I don't think he does. I guess they could snipe him at the safe room, but I was thinking when I first saw this that he didn't have to deal with these guys. But, you know, maybe it's better to be safe than sour. Just get rid of them. Fill up the... Fill up your ammo, and then that's it. So that is everything in the first act. Hitting all of his actives, hitting all of his shots. The Guardian flying low enough to get melee, which was a good bleed out. And the Venom's way behind, and he has enough time to go back to one side and fill up all of his torpo and all of his M-bar so he's full when he starts the second act. In a situation on the split, you want to have as much ammo as possible. That way, because if he only had like 2 torpo or 1 M-bar or none of each, he may have to restart just because he's ill-equipped. Because the second act is way harder than the first act. So anyway, you'll see excellent performance continue from here. So I'm assuming, I don't know how many fails exactly, but after a few fails, he has to deal with the second act still. So, and I'm probably getting the numbers slightly wrong, but you get the gist of it. I believe there's five or six Deadeyes, 5 or 6 drones, and 2 DR1s just in this area. It will be tough to deal with any of them individually, just because of the nature of if one sees you, there's probably 3 on the other side that see you. So you have to be very, very careful not to get frozen, not to get hit with DR1s. There's going to be a lot involved here. Also, the second act has Sentinels and elite drones, so it's going to be a problem, but we'll see how he handles it. So he's going to try to 2-hit this elite drone from a distance. So he's still kind of trying to stick with that strategy of 1 by 1, but it's really hard to do given the nature of the map. As you can see, when he was going after the elite drone, the Deadeye saw him. So he's using a tri-shot to get the DR1 from a distance, which is a good idea. Saves his primary and secondary ammo in the torque bow and M-bar. And he was able to kill both of them relatively quickly. And as long as they rush, relatively one at a time, this won't be a problem. So sometimes that happens when you're a melee character. You'll hit B, and for some reason your character will miss for no reason. So it happens though. So kind of similar strat. Try to do 1 by 1 if you can help it, or get into a 1v1 like situation. Kind of got fortunate there. I don't know how he didn't get hit, but I guess that cover was just good enough. But yeah, the Deadeyes in this map and also Malfunction are very annoying. They kind of just hide all the time. They're very aggravating to deal with. But Commander's not that annoyed by him because he keeps wiping them out pretty quickly. So not I don't think there's much left. There might be a few elite drones. But yeah, the thing is with Protector, you have options. Considering he has full M-bar, torque bow, and also the bleed, he has options if he wants to rush certain enemies or shoot them from a distance. But because of the fact that he doesn't have high health, shooting from a distance is a good idea. So in this area, similar continuous strat to where he's going to try to pick him off 1 by 1 or put himself in a semi one-on-one situation. He got the elite drone right off the bat pretty quickly. Sentinel, I believe, is 3 torque bows to get the shield down. Or 3 torque bow headshots, that's to say. So that also came low down to melee or to get good bleed damage. So that'll help him kill the Sentinel pretty quickly. He doesn't deal with any of the flyers for very long. I don't know if this was a common occurrence for him, but it seems like a lot of them are coming low, which is very, very useful, obviously, because if Protector can get melee bleed damage, that helps him kill it faster. So anyway, there's the other Sentinel trigger when he came across, and you really don't know how the Sentinels are going to act sometimes. Sometimes they, are very aggressive, and sometimes they get stuck on random walls. So, anyway, you just don't know. But this one also came low, but didn't get the bleed damage he did from the other one, but it's okay because it's dead with a headshot. Good for a score run. So, now he has to figure out how to pull the elevator. So he's killed 1 elite drone, just to refresh you guys' memory. He's killed 1 elite drone, but if he's only done that, I don't think he's killed anything else. There will be 3 more Deadeyes and 2 more elite drones, which now he's in a predicament where it's almost impossible to isolate individual enemies because they all see him at this point, and he can't really rush 2 elite drones as Protector. It's just not a good idea. A couple of bullets and a melee, and he's dead. So he's got to be careful here on how he approaches this. And also, in the instance, if he were to get frozen, he can always pop his shield to protect himself. So right now, he's just quickly taking out or using M-bar to try to take out the dead eyes as the fan's coming down. So he tries to take them out one by one, taking cover and then going back into cover, aiming at them when they're not trying to kill him. It seems intuitive, but it's a good strategy to, stay protected. Elite drones aren't even alerted, which is very, very good. And I'm not sure why the elite drones are. Oh, there we go. I was wondering why he wasn't alerted, but it doesn't matter now because they're all going to be dead here in a second. He ran out of M-bar, but that's no big deal. And this elite drone's dead in a matter of a second as soon as he pops up. So look how he expertly uses that cover here. He gives himself the advantage of not being able to get hit, but being ready to get the shot off. So just use that strategy when you don't need to use protector, but if you're like sniping in general, it gives yourself the advantage most of the time, I would say. So now this last section here is and let me go back to this part. So he kills the elite drone. So the med bay in this act is actually a key part of his strategy. I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen this solo, but I know that I've won solos on this map using the med bay. I know a lot of people that have used strategies to gain more ammo with the med bay, so it may be optional because it's a lot easier in the first act to get to the safe room, but when you're in the second act, do not forget to use the med bay. Now, granted, if the venom spreads a certain speed and it's covered too far, you won't spawn in, but if you die soon enough after you pull it, you will spawn in, just as a side note. So he pulls this fan, and he's probably going to keep up more of the same, using M-bar, using Torpo to get these enemies from a distance. There's not much, and this actually ties into something someone mentioned a long time ago, where I think I was Infiltrator on, or at the time it was Kate on Lethal Engagements, but I didn't really use the shotgun at all on that solo run. It is really up to the specific map or the specific user style how they want to utilize a certain character. Not all characters can be or should be utilized the same way. So the main thing for Protector, which to my surprise hasn't come up yet, is the stem. Well, the stem has come up obviously, but the shield has not. He has not used it once. But theoretically, if he got in a situation to where he needed it, he knows he can get it back sooner because of that close range recharge. So, but my point in saying that is just because you're a Protector or Blade Master or Brawler doesn't mean you should not use an M-bar as well, or you should not use Torque Bow. Granted, by the same token, if there's a demolitions on your team and you're a Protector and you have a Torque Bow, that's a problem because he has Shredder and you don't. So it's all about context. In the context of a map, it's all about who has the highest priority to get a certain gun versus you. In general, Protector doesn't need anything, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't be excellent at using these weapons. So that's just a little tidbit there. So Lonnie or Blade Master can use a sniper and so on and so forth. So don't let your class hinder you from what you should be able to use. All right, but like I said, he is, because, Commander's an excellent Foz user, also known as an excellent sniper, so he's able to channel that in a lot of situations. So being good at some classes or certain classes can help you with, solos in the future. So at this point, he gets what he can get, and he bolts to the stairs because there's really not much else to do. As soon as he comes down, the Sentinels are going to rush. and there's also a bunch of elite drones and deadites he has to deal with. So comes to this room, and to my surprise, he does not close the door. But this works out fine because as soon as the shield goes down, that Sentinel is virtually stunned. So he lets this. So he doesn't even. And I actually got confused myself for a second the first time I watched this, but I didn't realize the shield come down. Shield came down. So when the shield comes down for a Sentinel or Guardian, they are basically defenseless and they don't attack you. And also, it's almost like a very long flashbang, basically. I don't know if it's 7, 8 seconds or something to that effect. But basically, you don't have to worry about them as far as receiving damage while their shield is down. So what he does here is he completely annihilates the shield for that Sentinel and gets the shield down and tries to do the exact same thing with this Sentinel. Typically, when people are in this section, unless they're characters that can kill the Sentinels, like Demolitions. When I was Demolitions, I was able to kill the Sentinels pretty quickly. When I was Gunner, I was able to kill the Sentinels. Unless you're one of those classes, what typically happens is they try to trap them in this room, which is what Commander will also do. So, as you can see, obviously, because Commander's still alive, the shield is down. So now the Sentinel's rushing in there to join his buddy, and then that's it. So now he doesn't have to worry about the rest of the time. So he still has his ultimate, which he's still not using. Maybe he's going to save it for the end. And what he's doing right now is actually brilliant. So this current dynamic serves two purposes. He's trying to save himself as much time as possible to allow as many DR1s to come down, because what will happen is, since he pulled that med bay, if he were to die, hypothetically speaking, because he couldn't kill every DR1 down here, he would spawn at the med bay, in the event that he was efficient enough and the game allowed him to spawn at the med bay. So if he does that, that means the DR1s are out of the game. He completely put them out of the game, as opposed to needing to fight them all up top if he were to climb the stairs or something like that. The DR1s can hop downstairs but can't climb stairs, so this is actually a very useful strategy to get rid of very, very lethal enemies. So you'll see that here. So he tries to, I believe there's 6 or 8 DR1s, and he's trying to get rid of them as quickly as possible. He's getting some healing here, but it's not that great. But as you can see, he spawns up top, and he's able to load his guns, a gun that he may not have been able to get in a safer circumstance. And now he has M-Bar and Overkill, which will be good for the LZ, regardless if he gets Juvies or rejects. Still have to close that because of the fact that it might, the other Sentinels might loop around from the other side. So right now he just has to, the Venom is actually relatively thick, so he has to bolt to the LZ. He should get some healing there, and he does. So right now he's at the LZ. He tries to plant. Since his game's trash, he's unable to. For some reason, the game if you're running full speed like that, it just won't let you plant. So right now, he's got the reject spawn, which is probably the best spawn you could hope for. I would have definitely used Overkill here, but, it is what it is. So for the first time, he uses the shield. So when it comes down to the rejects, there's not much to it. You just have to melee and jump away. He throws his flash, but I believe it didn't even stun that DR1, and he has 2 DR1s he has to deal with. So his current strategy at this point should just be to stay as far away from DR1s as possible while he's shooting that M-Bar from a distance. So he's able to get the 1, and he still has a little bit of stim if necessary, but he's keeping his distance, which is entirely smart because you never know when this stun's not going to work. And once that DR1 dies, it's basically over. And that's game, folks. So that is it for Protector on the split. In general, for the casual player, you should not be using Protector on the split. But if you want a good challenge, and you want to push yourself to see if you can do it, that is an option. A few things that you should take away from this match is, maybe simplistic, but always hit your actives if you can help it. This is a solo I probably couldn't do unless I was like extremely consistent with my actives, because your active torque bow will take down shields. 3 actives take down sentinels. 2 actives takes down guardians for the most part, I would say, as long as they're headshots, or also known as in the center of the shield. So you do that, you're able to kill the sentinel and guardian via, if they fly low, you can melee them, or a couple of torque bow headshots will kill either of them. So also general efficiency, just doing things fast, deciding things fast, picking up ammo, knowing exactly what you're going to do, knowing exactly what you're going to do before you do it. That's also key here. If you saw on the little mini map, when you go back and look at this, Commander is way ahead of the Venom for the whole game in the first, the whole first act. The second act is insane, so that's why he's not, ahead of the Venom there. But the first act, there's like almost no Venom at all. It's like non-existent. So just being efficient with what you're going to do before you do it. Another thing to take away from this video is try to put yourself in situations where you're isolating individual enemies. Just because there's 10 enemies in a room doesn't mean you have to fight all of them at once. Try to, take off a DR1 first, and then a Deadeye, then an Elite Drone, or just one Guardian, but instead of just 2 at once. Situations where you may need to restart is if there's 2 Guardians and 2 DR1s on one side, and you, as Protector, you can't deal with them all at once, but there's nothing you can do because every time you come out of that door, all 4 of them are there. That might be a restart until you get a more favorable spawn. But those little things you just have to know through trial and error. You won't know until you try yourself. So that's the first act, really. Second act is a little bit more of the same. Try to kill things from a distance. Use your tri-shot to kill enemies from a distance if necessary, so you can save on your torque bow and M-bar. The Elite Drone has this needs to be, you need to be careful of the Elite Drone. Also, because of the regen penalty, you don't want to take too much damage if you can help yourself from Venom or really anything. The healing for Protector's okay, but for the most part, you just want to be, careful, obviously. For the Sentinels, you want to take down the shield as quickly as possible. You can see in the game certain moments where he was able to melee low flyers. You can try to copy it. For me, I couldn't really sell you on how to definitely get that to happen. But, I'm sure after a few tries, you can get it to happen every so often. But I wouldn't know a consistent method for it, even though I just watched this video with you guys. And I'll post the original video in the link in the description, and also in the comment section for people that don't read the description. So, anyways, and then for the second act, or for the last part in the second act, same thing, trying to isolate different enemies, trying to trap the Sentinels down below, taking off the shield of the first one, which stuns him for, or the Sentinel for 5 or more seconds, and then doing the exact same thing with the second one, and then trying to survive after the supply room doors are closed for as long as possible. That way you don't have to worry about dealing with DR1s later because they're all hopping down. Another thing about why he doesn't close the door at all when he hops down the ladder is if you shut the door while you're on the inside of a structure, the DR1s stop moving. So when he goes down there and keeps the door open, everything that's alerted is still moving. So there's still a constant flow of DR1s that's trying to get down. If he were to shut the door, then reopen it to trap the Sentinels, the DR1s would slowly be coming down, and he needs things to happen quickly. As you can see, the venom was pretty thick towards the end, and he chose the most efficient option. So just imagine if he actually did it wrong, to where he shut the door and the DR1s weren't moving, but the Sentinels were shooting the wall, which is typical for other gunner runs. But anywho, um, and then also at the LZ, he used M-bar to shoot the rejects. I probably would have done overkill, or yeah, I probably would have done overkill like straight off the bat. And I may have stayed outside, but those are semantics. Really, you really don't know how that's going to go. The flashbang at the very very end flashed a reject, or it just simply didn't work because the DR1 simply sidestepped and was not stunned at all, and he was able to kill those DR1s from a distance while meleeing rejects as they were necessary. So this is pretty much the high point of Protector. That's pretty much it, guys. Stay tuned for the next video explanation. If you have a request on the cell you want to see analyzed, let me know. As always, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good one. Peace.